Most men think performance begins in the bedroom, but what if I told you it actually begins hours earlier, in the quiet moments before sleep, in a simple nighttime ritual that can transform not just your body, but your confidence, your connection, and your entire intimate life? The truth is that male performance is rarely just about physical ability. It is about circulation, hormones, stress levels, emotional presence, and the subtle but powerful signals a man sends to his own nervous system before he ever touches his partner. The nighttime oil routine is not some mystical trick or exaggerated promise. It is a deliberate act of self-care that combines physical stimulation, relaxation, and mental intention in a way that primes the body for stronger blood flow, deeper arousal, and more sustained energy over time. When done consistently and respectfully, it becomes less about quick fixes and more about reclaiming ownership of your vitality. Many men underestimate how much tension they carry into bed each night. Tension from work, financial pressure, relationship misunderstandings, silent insecurities about aging or stamina. That tension constricts blood vessels, elevates cortisol, and keeps the body in a low-level fight or flight state that quietly sabotages sexual performance. A nighttime oil routine interrupts that cycle. The simple act of warming natural oil between your hands, feeling its texture, slowing your breath, and applying it with mindful intention signals safety to the nervous system. When the body feels safe, it allows blood flow to increase more freely. When blood flow improves, erections strengthen. When erections strengthen naturally, confidence rises. And confidence, more than anything else, is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs in a relationship. The routine begins long before touch. It begins with the decision to unplug from screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Blue light suppresses melatonin and keeps the brain overstimulated, which affects testosterone production over time. By dimming the lights and creating a calm environment, you shift your body into parasympathetic mode, the state responsible for rest, digestion, and sexual arousal. Choosing a high-quality natural oil, such as cold-pressed coconut oil, sweet almond oil, or a vitamin E enriched blend matters because the skin is the largest organ of the body and absorbs what you apply. The goal is nourishment, not irritation. When you pour a small amount into your palms and rub them together, you generate warmth. That warmth is not just physical, it prepares your mind to slow down. As you begin gentle massage along the thighs, lower abdomen, and pelvic region, you are encouraging circulation into the entire area, not aggressively, but with steady, rhythmic movements. The key is consistency and gentleness. This is not about force, it is about awakening. The pelvic floor muscles, often ignored by men, play a crucial role in erection strength and endurance. Light massage around the base and surrounding muscles increases awareness of that region. Many men live disconnected from this part of their body until something goes wrong. Reconnecting builds control. When done nightly, the body begins to associate bedtime with relaxation rather than pressure to perform. That shift alone can resolve a surprising amount of performance anxiety. There is also a hormonal component. Chronic stress lowers testosterone, and testosterone influences libido, erection quality, and overall sexual desire. Slow, mindful touch combined with deep breathing has been shown to reduce cortisol levels. Lower cortisol creates a better environment for testosterone balance. This is why the routine is as much about breathing as it is about oil. Inhale slowly through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold briefly, then exhale slowly through the mouth. As you breathe, keep your mind present in the sensations rather than drifting into worry. This mental discipline trains your brain to stay grounded during intimacy instead of spiraling into self-criticism. Over time, that training carries into real sexual encounters. You are less likely to rush, less likely to panic, and more likely to stay connected to your partner's responses. Another powerful aspect of this ritual is the psychological message it sends. When a man invests time in his own sexual health, he is telling himself that his pleasure and his partner's pleasure matter. That self-respect subtly changes posture, tone of voice, and eye contact. Partners feel that difference. Intimacy thrives on energy exchange. A man who feels prepared and grounded radiates steadiness. That steadiness allows his partner to relax more deeply, which in turn enhances arousal for both. The oil routine can also be an opportunity to strengthen pelvic floor engagement. After gentle massage, contracting and releasing the pelvic muscles slowly builds endurance. Think of it as strength training for sexual stamina. These muscles help maintain erection rigidity and control ejaculation. When trained consistently, many men notice improved staying power and stronger climactic sensations. But perhaps the most underestimated benefit is emotional. Many couples suffer not from lack of attraction, but from silent distance. When a man develops a nighttime ritual that centers calmness and intention, he becomes more emotionally available. Instead of collapsing into bed exhausted and disconnected, he enters with awareness. That awareness creates space for conversation, affectionate touch, or simply holding each other without expectation. Ironically, removing pressure to perform often enhances performance naturally. It is important to understand that results are cumulative. One night will not transform everything, but weeks of consistent care can improve tissue health, sensitivity, and circulation. The skin becomes more supple, the nervous system becomes less reactive. Erections may feel firmer and more responsive. Morning arousal may increase as blood flow improves, and perhaps most significantly, anxiety decreases. Performance anxiety is one of the leading causes of temporary erectile issues. When the mind fears failure, the body follows. This routine rewires that association. Instead of bedtime equaling evaluation, it becomes restoration. There is also an intimacy benefit if shared. Some men eventually invite their partner into the ritual, not in a demanding way, but as an act of mutual care. A partner applying oil slowly with patience and tenderness can deepen trust and vulnerability. However, even when practiced alone, the ritual builds a stronger foundation for connection. You are not just preparing an organ, you are preparing your entire state of being. Nutrition and hydration amplify the effects. Drinking enough water supports circulation. Avoiding heavy alcohol at night prevents suppression of erectile response. Gentle stretching of the hips and lower back before the oil massage can further enhance blood flow to the pelvic region. All of these elements together create a powerful system rather than a single trick. The routine becomes symbolic. It says, I am not at the mercy of stress. I am cultivating vitality deliberately. Many men chase instant solutions while ignoring daily habits that shape long-term performance. The nighttime oil routine is simple, affordable, and grounded in physiology. Warmth improves blood vessel dilation. Massage stimulates nerve endings. Relaxation balances hormones. Mindfulness reduces anxiety. And confidence grows when you feel proactive rather than reactive. Imagine entering intimacy not with a silent question of will I perform, but with a quiet certainty that your body is supported and prepared. That certainty changes everything. It changes how you initiate touch, how you kiss, how you hold eye contact, how you respond to your partner's breathing. Sexual energy is deeply tied to presence. Presence cannot exist in a rushed, stressed mind. This ritual trains presence nightly. Over time, you may notice that arousal builds more gradually, but more powerfully. Instead of quick spikes followed by pressure, there is a steady rise of desire rooted in calmness. That is sustainable performance. That is mature sexuality. The oil routine is not about vanity or obsession. It is about respect for your body and the relationship it supports. When a man honors his body in private, he shows up more powerfully in partnership. And often, the greatest transformation is not just physical strength, but emotional steadiness. A steady man creates a safe space for passion to flourish. The bedroom stops feeling like a stage and starts feeling like a sanctuary. This is where real performance lives, not in frantic effort, but in relaxed confidence built night after night through a ritual that seems simple, yet quietly reshapes everything. As this routine becomes part of your nightly rhythm, something subtle yet profound begins to shift inside you, and it is not just in your body, but in your identity as a man. You stop seeing performance as a test you must pass, and begin experiencing it as an expression of energy you naturally cultivate. The consistency of the oil ritual builds neurological pathways that associate touch with calm rather than urgency. Many men unknowingly condition themselves to respond to sexual stimulation with speed and tension, often from years of rushed habits or stress-driven intimacy. When the body learns to rush, it struggles to sustain. When the body learns to relax, it endures. This distinction is crucial. Endurance is not forced. It is permitted by a nervous system that feels safe. Each night that you warm the oil and begin slow massage, you are teaching your body that arousal does not require panic. You are training your breath to remain steady even as sensation increases. This alone can dramatically change control during intimacy. The more familiar you become with your own physical responses in a calm setting, the less reactive you become during partnered experiences. Familiarity reduces fear. Fear is often the hidden saboteur behind inconsistent performance. There is also a vascular intelligence to this ritual. Erections rely on healthy blood vessels expanding efficiently and maintaining pressure. Gentle massage combined with warmth improves microcirculation over time. Think of it as conditioning the tissue. Just as muscles respond to repeated training, blood vessels respond to regular stimulation and relaxation cycles. Improved circulation does not only enhance firmness, it can increase sensitivity in a balanced way. Balanced sensitivity means you feel more, yet remain in control. This equilibrium is where true sexual confidence is built. Men often assume that stronger sensation automatically leads to faster climax, but when the nervous system is regulated, heightened sensation can actually enhance control rather than diminish it. Another important component is the pelvic floor. Many men are unaware of how disconnected they are from these muscles until they consciously engage them. After applying oil and completing gentle massage, slowly contract the pelvic floor muscles as if lifting internally, hold for a few seconds, then release fully. The release is just as important as the contraction. Over time, this strengthens the supportive structure responsible for erection angle, rigidity, and ejaculatory control. A strong but flexible pelvic floor creates better blood trapping during erection and more powerful climactic release. However, the secret lies in balance. Overly tense muscles can cause premature response, while weak muscles can reduce firmness. The nighttime ritual, when done mindfully, builds both awareness and balance. Beyond the physical mechanics, there is an emotional recalibration happening beneath the surface. Intimacy is rarely just about anatomy. It is about how safe a man feels being seen in his vulnerability. Performance anxiety often stems from deeper fears of inadequacy, rejection, or aging. When you invest time in caring for your sexual health privately, you confront those fears quietly and consistently. You shift from avoidance to engagement. Instead of ignoring concerns and hoping for the best, you become proactive. Proactivity builds psychological stability. Psychological stability enhances sexual stability. Sleep quality also plays a powerful role in performance, and the nighttime oil routine naturally enhances sleep. The combination of massage, warmth, and slow breathing lowers heart rate and signals the brain that it is time to restore. Deep sleep is when testosterone production peaks. Testosterone influences libido, morning arousal, mood, and overall vitality. When you improve sleep depth, you indirectly support hormonal balance. Many men search for supplements or stimulants without realizing that simple relaxation rituals before bed may provide more sustainable benefits. the body thrives on rhythm. When you create a predictable, calming ritual each night, you align with your natural circadian cycles rather than fighting them. There is also a relational dimension that often goes unnoticed. When a man feels physically confident and emotionally grounded, his approach to intimacy becomes less transactional and more connected. He listens more closely to his partner's breathing. He notices subtle shifts in her body language. He becomes patient instead of hurried. This patience deepens foreplay, which in turn increases arousal for both partners. Strong performance is rarely about duration alone. It is about engagement. Engagement requires presence. Presence requires calm. The oil routine builds calm systematically. Over weeks and months, many men report subtle changes that accumulate into dramatic differences. Morning erections may become more consistent, indicating healthy circulation and hormonal balance. Desire may feel more organic rather than forced. Physical response may feel firmer and more responsive to stimulation. Perhaps most importantly, the inner dialogue shifts. Instead of questioning whether the body will cooperate, there is quiet trust. Trust eliminates hesitation. Hesitation often disrupts arousal more than any physical factor. It is important to approach this ritual without aggression. The goal is nourishment, not overstimulation. Too much pressure or friction can cause irritation rather than improvement. Gentle, rhythmic movement allows tissues to respond positively. Think of it as tending a garden rather than forcing growth. Consistency matters more than intensity. Even 5 to 10 minutes each night can create meaningful change over time. The mind begins to associate bedtime with restoration and empowerment rather than exhaustion and uncertainty. For men who struggle with stress-induced performance issues, this ritual can become a grounding anchor. Stress constricts blood vessels and tightens muscles. By consciously relaxing the pelvic area each night, you reverse that pattern. You teach the body expansion instead of contraction. This expansion is not only physical, it is energetic. When a man feels expanded rather than constricted, his entire demeanor changes. He moves differently. He speaks differently. He initiates differently. Partners notice this shift even if they cannot articulate why. In some relationships, the routine eventually becomes shared in subtle ways. A partner may sit nearby, talk softly, or place a hand on your chest while you complete the ritual. This transforms the practice into mutual intimacy preparation rather than solitary maintenance. However, even when practiced alone, it prepares you to show up fully. The strength built in private becomes confidence expressed in partnership. The most transformative aspect may be the reframing of masculinity itself. Performance is often portrayed as dominance or endurance measured by external standards. This ritual redefines performance as self-awareness, emotional steadiness, and sustainable vitality. It replaces pressure with preparation. It replaces anxiety with intention. Over time, that shift changes not only the bedroom experience, but the overall dynamic of the relationship. When a man feels secure in his body, he becomes less defensive and more open. Emotional closeness grows alongside physical strength. Imagine months from now looking back and realizing that what once felt unpredictable now feels steady. That what once caused silent worry now feels natural. That intimacy feels less like a test and more like a shared experience of pleasure and connection. This is not magic. It is the compounded effect of nightly investment. Small actions repeated consistently create large outcomes. The nighttime oil routine is simple, but its simplicity is its power. It requires no expensive equipment, no complicated protocols, only patience and commitment. And as this practice continues, you may begin to notice that your entire approach to intimacy evolves. You initiate not from urgency, but from desire rooted in calm. You maintain not from tension, but from balanced energy. You climax not from rush, but from controlled build, and your partner senses that difference deeply. Performance becomes less about proving and more about sharing, less about fear and more about confidence, less about fleeting excitement and more about sustained passion. The ritual you perform in the quiet of night becomes the foundation for the fire you bring into the bedroom. The ritual you perform in the quiet of night becomes the foundation for the fire you bring into the bedroom. And over time, you begin to understand that true performance is not a single moment of intensity, but the result of accumulated intention. By now, the oil in your hands is no longer just oil. It represents discipline, patience, and respect for your own vitality. What once felt like a simple experiment becomes a private commitment to long-term strength. You notice that your breathing automatically slows when you begin. Your shoulders drop without effort. The tension you carried from the day dissolves more quickly. This conditioning spills into other areas of life. You respond to stress with more composure. You feel less reactive. And that steadiness carries directly into intimacy because sexual performance is deeply connected to overall nervous system regulation. As weeks turn into months, the body adapts. Circulation improves not because of a miracle, but because of repetition. Blood vessels respond better to stimulation. The mind no longer associates arousal with pressure. Instead, arousal feels like a gradual awakening that you can guide rather than chase. This guidance is power. When a man feels in control of his arousal rather than controlled by it, everything changes. He can slow down when needed. He can intensify when desired. He can focus on his partner without being distracted by internal doubt. That level of presence transforms the entire intimate dynamic. You may begin to notice that anticipation builds differently. During the day, subtle thoughts of your partner bring warmth rather than anxiety. There is a sense of readiness in your body, not urgency, but quiet capability. That readiness often leads to more spontaneous affection. A longer kiss in the kitchen, a lingering touch on the lower back, a deeper embrace before bed. These small gestures strengthen emotional intimacy, which in turn strengthens physical intimacy. The connection becomes cyclical. Care for your body increases confidence. Confidence increases affection. Affection deepens desire. Desire enhances performance. Another powerful shift occurs in how you experience climax. When the pelvic floor is trained and the nervous system is balanced, climax often feels more expansive and controlled rather than abrupt. The buildup becomes enjoyable rather than something to rush through. Many men describe feeling more full-bodied sensation rather than localized intensity. This is because relaxation allows the entire body to participate in arousal. Shoulders, chest, breath, hips, all moving in rhythm rather than tension. When the body is not bracing against anxiety, pleasure travels more freely. Equally important is what does not happen anymore. The spiral of overthinking diminishes. The momentary fluctuation that once triggered panic no longer holds the same power. You have built trust with your body through consistent nightly care. Trust neutralizes fear, and when fear decreases, performance stabilizes naturally. This stability creates emotional safety for your partner as well. She senses that you are grounded. She feels less pressure to reassure you and more freedom to express her own desires. Mutual relaxation amplifies shared pleasure. The beauty of this nighttime oil routine is that it reinforces a truth often overlooked in conversations about male performance. Strength is not aggression. Endurance is not strain. Virility is not noise or speed. True masculine vitality is steady, patient, and deeply connected. By taking a few intentional minutes each night, you redefine what performance means in your own life. You step away from comparison and move toward personal mastery. There may be evenings when fatigue tempts you to skip the ritual. On those nights especially, even a shortened version reinforces discipline. Warm the oil, breathe deeply, apply gentle massage, engage and release the pelvic muscles. Express gratitude for your body rather than criticism. These small acts compound over time. The body responds to how it is treated consistently, not occasionally. Eventually, the ritual becomes less about boosting performance and more about maintaining alignment. You are aligning circulation, hormones, muscles, breath, and mindset. When those systems work together, sexual energy flows more naturally. Intimacy feels less mechanical and more intuitive. You are not trying to perform, you are expressing vitality that has been cultivated daily. And perhaps the most meaningful outcome is the shift in self-perception. Instead of seeing aging or stress as enemies of your sexual identity, you see them as variables you can manage with care. You realize that performance is not a fragile trait, but a dynamic quality influenced by habits. This realization is empowering. It replaces helplessness with responsibility. It replaces insecurity with calm assurance. In the end, the nighttime oil routine is not about oil alone. It is about creating a sacred pause between the noise of the day and the intimacy of the night. It is about honoring your body as the vessel through which connection happens. It is about choosing preparation over pressure, intention over impulse, steadiness over stress. When practiced consistently, it strengthens circulation, supports hormonal balance, enhances pelvic control, improves sleep, reduces anxiety, and deepens emotional presence. But beyond all of that, it transforms how you show up as a partner. You move from uncertainty to confidence, from tension to relaxation, from performance anxiety to embodied presence. And that transformation does not just change a single night. It reshapes the atmosphere of your entire intimate life. What begins as a simple ritual in the quiet of darkness becomes a foundation for passion, endurance, and connection that feels natural, sustainable, and deeply fulfilling. That is the real power of a nighttime oil routine.